Welcome to the Global Exclusive Podcast. Today is an exciting week because it's Power Creep Day. Aren't you excited, Muspel?
Oh yeah, it's always so much fun when old units get completely
Irrelevant?
irrelevant. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so is this the biggest power group we've ever had in a
No.
game? Is Esther and Xeno still bigger?
Let's see. Tifa does like less than double the damage of the current top units. Esther did like 3 times as much.
Dang, that's gonna be hard to top.
7-star might have been a bigger spike. I don't really remember how much damage the 6-star units did.
The 6-star units didn't even do a billion, so it might have been, yeah.
Well, neither did the early 7-star units. Like Orlando did like, I don't know, 500 billion.
You mean million?
Or, yeah, million.
Yeah. I mean, this is only the beginning, and Sephiroth comes out eventually. We'll see it something even bigger, I guess. But
Yeah.
Tifa isn't the main this week. Let's be honest. It's Rufus Shinra, obviously.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the that's the prize of the
Yes.
banner.
Rufus Shinra is one of those very popular true dual wield units that uses throwing weapons and guns.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just there's a lot of these in the game. They're very popular. There's a lot you can do with them because there's so many strong throwing weapons. Like um
Like the one from 10-Man Trials. I think that was a throwing weapon.
like the one from Dark Visions.
Or
And
that
I
one.
think that's literally it.
Honestly, I don't mind that they gave the NVA to Rufus Shinra because like he's a cool character and all, but like holy shit, is this a useless character?
Yeah. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He's like around. Who even isn't around this damage amount? Let me take a look. It's so long that I can't remember like what units are in that range. About as much as Cleostar or like Sora.
For people that don't know, Cleostar is a 7-star unit. Oh
No,
no, not a 7-star unit. It's an older unit. It's like 6 months old by this point, I think, or maybe 6 months is searching it. But anyways, it's super fucking old.
yeah. So he's like 10 or 20% behind last gen.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. Is there any utility? Like I couldn't find any, but
He has an 80% full break.
I mean even that, right? It's a stretch, isn't it? Because of like how modern breakers work. I don't
It,
know.
it it only lasts one turn, and it's single target, and he can only dual cast it, and the only skills he can dual cast it with are absolutely terrible.
So what the fuck is
So
the purpose of this unit then? He's not a breaker.
the purpose is they needed to make a new NVA for the banner, and he was easy to pick because basically all of the other uh, Final Fantasy VII units were already NV bases or something. I don't know. They could have done Barrett. I think he did get an NVA eventually in
He
JP,
did
but
get
that
an
was on
NVA.
Sephiroth's banner.
Yeah,
Who else could they have done?
Vincent. Vincent would have been so much more popular. Yuffie.
I
Yuffie's still.
guess I I'm guessing Alum is still afraid of throwing weapons, like two-handed throwing weapons.
You say
Like they,
that, but then this boy.
well, two-handed.
Okay. Okay, two-handed. Okay.
Has there been anyone else that used two-handed throwing weapons since then?
Selfie?
Well, physical.
Oh, physical. Okay. Not that I know of.
I don't. It looks like she has. There are only two-handed throwing weapons in the game: her STMR and Setzer's. So yeah, I think they were like the only two ever.
Do you think they're rightfully afraid though? They
No,
could be, I think. You
like it,
don't?
it hasn't made sense since they implemented the damage formula thing that screws over fixed dice.
Right.
But I'm not sure that Alum understands that. So but yeah, it could have been Vincent, but it wasn't. And to be fair, Vincent's original kit is a mess. So I can see why nobody wanted to go near that with a 10-foot pole. But
Makes
yeah,
sense. I mean, this is such a lazy NVA. It's kind of sad. I think this is the laziest NVA we've had in a while. So
He
that's what I
does
thought.
get to chain with his pet dog in his Brave Shift.
Yes, but Shadow can't for some reason, right?
Yeah, yeah. Assassin Shadow NVA doesn't get to do that. Technically, that's because he came out before tag change, but still.
Even yeah, it still feels bad. Do
Yeah.
does this TMR and STMR make you feel funny, Muspel, at all?
The TM is. It could be worse. It's about what I expect from a 5-star TM, which is that it's occasionally useful, but really sucks compared to STMRs.
And is
Uh,
STMR?
his STMR exists. Like if you're using a dual wield gun unit, I guess it's okay, but
Dual
how
wield
many of
physical
those
gun.
are there?
Yeah. Oh, Rico Rodriguez, let's go.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that they're going to give him an NVA any day now.
Exactly.
Maybe there's some new unit in JP that actually does that. I have no idea. I'm trying to think how many dual wielding gun users we've ever had. There's,
Louise, but she's a magic unit, so
well, yeah, physical units. Let's see. Was Balthier dual wield? I think he was.
I think he was. No. No?
You could build him either way. I remember now.
Okay, yeah.
Dual wield did more damage, but like his hits were too spaced out to fit into a chain. So in practice, double hand was better. Yeah, there's really not much to say about Rufus.
Yeah, really?
You're
We've
you're
tried
you're,
our
you're going to use him because he's a bonus unit for the event, and then you're going to bench him and never look back.
Rufus doesn't even fit into my bench right now because all my other FF7 NVAs are taking up that slot.
But he gives a higher bonus, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yeah, he
Yeah, I mean,
gives. I think he gives the same bonus as Aerith and Tifa.
oh, but he's only EX0 for me, so that's why I'm
Oh
going for the
yeah,
higher EX levels right now.
he gives 300% at EX0, which I think is the same as anyone else at EX3. But an EX3
Gets more
like
EP.
yeah, but capping EP is so easy at this point.
Yeah, maybe I should just switch out because like the MK is for about a month if you saw it. So, be,
Yeah, I
uh,
think it's 3 weeks or something. It's pretty long.
and I think the reason they're doing that is because they know that the prices are absurd on those Reno shards.
Yeah,
And
I think I'm already at 100k EP, and I haven't done like any refills.
Mhm.
So
All right,
yeah,
I think we've stretched out this part of the content very enough. Let's go on
yeah,
to
yeah. I
what
don't want to
people
talk
are.
about Rufus anymore.
Yeah, please. Let's not look at that unit ever again. Avalanche is Tifa, and I hate this name. I really hate this name.
Yeah, I don't like. Why isn't it just Avalanche Tifa?
Yeah,
Or I don't know. What would be another name for that?
I don't know. It could be like Avalanche. Just Avalanche Tifa is probably perfect, but like I don't know, Bartender Tifa, Seventh Heavens Tifa. I don't know. They could have been better. So I don't like that name.
Yeah, it's not great.
But in a switch of mood, I kind of want to start on that TMR because of that chain mod change thing.
Oh god,
Because
why did they bring back this stupid mechanic?
I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm sure this is your favorite topic of the day, isn't it, Muspel? So if people remember back, the original 5-star Tifa had a weird mechanic where her chain count didn't start at 1 like everybody else. Am I saying this correct?
Yes. Yeah, when she was chaining, like if she was unchained, this didn't do anything. But if she started chaining, then her chain mod started at 2x, and then it built up to the normal cap of 6x when she was dual wielding.
Mm-hmm.
So her TM, the new Tifa's TM gives that effect to whoever equips it.
Mm-hmm. And is that very helpful at all, Muspel?
Normally, no. For her specifically, it might actually not be entirely useless
Oh, really?
because her LB has so many hits, and you can't necessarily fit the whole thing into a chain very easily. Like the early hits might be landing when the chain mod
Oh,
isn't maxed, but the early
right.
hits don't do a lot of damage. So the math to figure it out would be complicated
Huh.
and very annoying to do because I'm not sure how you would fit that into the builder properly.
But it has flat 60% attack. I mean, that's not so bad. But otherwise,
Yeah, but
it
like she already caps attack effortlessly, and other units aren't necessarily going to have the same problem with fitting an LB into a chain that she does, because a lot of the other finishers are just single hit. So,
But the
yeah.
real prize of her like TMR STMR is definitely her STMR, especially for herself, and possibly even the like if we ever get any updates to Cloud. So
Well, for pretty much any physical unit, really, like that's a lot of attack.
82 is quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. And then for Final Fantasy, for Tifa and almost all versions of Cloud, not the Kingdom Hearts one, but
Kingdom
all the
Hearts
other
Cloud,
ones.
yeah.
500 static attack, defense, spirit, and HP. So, and 50% LB damage. So, it's a lot of attack, and it's stacks, so you can use 2 of it.
Exactly.
Her vision card, like with Aerith last week, her vision card, you only get it EX3. Why is the wiki page taking me to the wrong thing when I click on it? Now I need to look at her JP page because I don't remember everything on it off the top of my head. Her vision card has 125 attack, some LB damage, some beast killer, and for Final Fantasy 7 units, 500 static attack. So again, even more attack, more good stats, really high base attack, but it's gonna be fucking expensive to get because EX3 on this god awful banner, that's a lot of lapis.
Yeah, honestly, even for the ultra whales, this will be hard to like guarantee. I know some people are shittering real hard, and that's like kind of helping put the blowback in, but it's still on paper one of the worst banners we've probably ever had in
Yeah,
GL.
like the worst case lapis cost is somewhere in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
Like not the low hundreds of thousands, probably like I don't know, 400,000 or something, which is that's a lot
sir.
of money or like years worth of hoarding lapis. So probably don't do that. Like
The
long term, you can get it from the fragment dungeon. Do that
exactly,
instead.
exactly. And that's the inherent issue with GL right now, right? Because like if JP did this, it's fine because they have a more permanent frag dungeon. But for us, we wait every 3 months for it to show up. It's like a fucking full moon.
Well, ours gives more. Like on average, I think we get about the same amount of fragments as JP,
I
or
don't
like
think
not.
so anymore. After the JP changes, JP updated their frag dungeons to be
Oh,
better
did
at.
they?
Yeah, at a certain point they did. So now they're
I,
daily
I, th- I
frag
thought they
dungeons.
did that before we got ours.
There was another update before they got their premium summons. That's what I
Oh,
heard.
okay.
So one thing that they did was like actually they did introduce premium units, right? Like Sephiroth, Aerith, and Tifa, but then they also kind of buffed the rates in which you get frags from frag dungeons. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the explanation that was told to me about JP.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I trust Shadow, but I'll trust Shadow for now.
You have no choice right now, so fuck you. Yeah, but Tifa as a unit, you want to talk about her damage and
Yes,
what she does?
Tifa has one skill. It is her LB. It does a lot of damage.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. Technically, she has other skills, but none of them really matter. Like, one of them fills her LB gauge, another one fills her LB gauge a little bit. The only thing that matters in terms of, like, actually doing stuff is her Brave Shift LB.
Yeah.
Burst-wise, she bursts for... What is this percentage-wise? Let me pull out a calculator. About 2.5 times as much damage as Noctis.
It's a lot. Holy
That's
shit.
going to change somewhat when you include STMRs and whatever. Like she's probably going to pull further ahead, just because like 2 copies of her STMR and her vision card and her EX2 passive and a lot of other shit.
Wow. It's
But
fucking
yeah,
crazy.
it's a lot of damage. And that is all that she does. Water damage, waterlocked, by the way. So yeah, but
So
the damage is still high enough that like even in dark visions on non-water bosses, she's gonna outdamage basically anyone else.
So I think most people that were hesitant on pulling on Tifa were people that were saying if Sephiroth is coming. So we might be looking at the future, but way too much. But I think because of the GL changes in regards to stacking STMRs, she actually gets pretty competitive with Sephiroth. Isn't that correct?
That's what I'm told. I'm not really familiar with Sephiroth's calculations, but I've heard that in JP, Sephiroth bursts harder if you give him the increased chain cap materia from uh, Savior of Souls Lightning,
Right.
or in GL, I guess we could eventually use the crown from Clash of Wills.
That's also
Um,
true. Yeah.
the
Hmm.
Tifa though, she's a lot easier to gear. Like Sephiroth needs has trouble capping attack and true double hand, I believe, and LB damage and all that at the same time, and then also fitting in killers. Tifa just caps stats pretty much effortlessly and has a lot of room for killers. So potentially she's better off there.
The one, I guess, downside to her is her LB, right? That
Yeah,
LB is a bit of a bitch to chain with or cap with.
yeah. So unlike a lot of finishers, her LB is 12 hits, so you have to like fit it into a chain somehow, which can be difficult to do because it has the last hit is like 68 frames after the previous one, so it's relatively long, and the early hits are kind of close together, so they'll break some support chains. So you have to be really careful what you're doing with her. You're frequently going to need a macro for it, and even then, it could be sketchy or just not work for some support chains.
Exactly. And I guess that's the only like PSA we need to tell people if they want to pull for Tifa is that like Sephiroth is brain dead. Like the way that Sephiroth works, and the only reason we compare the two is there's still the kings and JP, kings and queens in JP, but Sephiroth is literally brain dead. Unlike Tifa, where you might need to like fiddle around with in DV to get her shit to cap. So
Yeah.
there is that.
I do want to mention though that I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. Like, just both of these banners are so awful in terms of cost.
Yeah.
Um, because not only is the guarantee about 20,000 lapis more expensive, which is about a month's worth of lapis, maybe a little less these days. But then also the fragments are more expensive. There's no lapis bundle to buy them in the shop like
And
normal.
even the cash bundle gives less frags.
Yeah,
Half the frags it used to. So
it's really trying to milk and squeeze you in every single way. You can't buy fragments with the tickets you get from doing 5k or not 5k summons, but summons on the banner.
yep.
And just everything about it is designed to make this massively more expensive. Getting the unit is more expensive, getting the fragments is, and as bad as getting the unit is, getting the fragments is like 10 times worse than a normal banner.
Mm-hmm.
So seriously consider how many resources you have and whether you want to pull for Sephiroth or Tifa, because there's a chance if these banners are unpopular that Gumi will kind of back off and make the future banners less bad. But at the same time, then you're waiting a while without having one of these crazy busted damage dealers. So, you got to make your decisions.
I feel like it has been super successful, and Gumi's just like eating this shit up right now.
Yeah,
Probably.
I'm like I pulled.
Did you get
I
her?
I spent 60k lapis, so yes.
How many did you get?
One, and then I spent some more tickets and got another copy. I
Okay,
just burned down until I had 50 normal tickets and 50 4-star tickets.
so you're not gonna pull on Sephiroth?
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay.
I say that now, but we'll see. But
You say that
I,
now.
I don't really care about Sephiroth that much. I didn't care about Tifa either, but I wanted to have somebody that could do big burst damage on turn 2. But having a second unit that can do that is less important now. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Tifa. I don't. I don't like where the game is going. Basically, with how Sephiroth and Tifa were introduced, and this isn't the fault of Gumi, right? This is the fault of ALM and how they decided to introduce premium units. Because I said this a week ago, but like premium units are basically another rarity change. Like the way that they're treating it. Like remember
yeah,
when we used 7 stars used to be a 20k step up, and then Envy they settled on a 40k step up or 40k pity, and like now we're going to a 60k pity with EX2 as the baseline for the unit or
for what
EX.
it's worth, I think that with the fragments in the cash shop, I think that 40k for an Envy unit is actually fairly comparable to 25k for a Rainbow unit because you don't need the second copy. You can just
That's
buy it with VIP coins.
That's true, and I don't I really enjoyed what Gumi did with the 40k plus all the VIP shop stuff because EX2 on day one wasn't impossible for a lot of MV units. Like for example, Noctis, I had to pull Noctis, I got 2 or 3 of them in his banner, pitied one, and then had to get it from the VIP shop, and I 2 weeks later, and I EX2'd him. So like that sort of thing wasn't hard, but the thing is now that they took away all these like I guess safety nets slash frags where we could get it without relying on frag dungeon every 3 months. So they took away both frag
Yeah.
insurance and frag dungeon hasn't changed. So we've come to a point where Avalanche's Tifa is a bitch to pull. Even if you pull it, you probably want at least 4 copies to guarantee that you get the best out of her. So it really does suck.
Yeah. Like you can get by with 3 copies because then you can buy the 50 shards you're missing from the VIP shop after it ends.
Right.
But they're more expensive than normal ones, so that's going to really eat into your VIP coin stockpile.
Yeah.
You could buy the bundle twice, but that's about $100 for 50 fragments.
Or $130 in Canadian. So,
Yeah,
fuck
but
us,
that's
right?
not real money.
Oh wow. Our Monopoly money is super real. What are you talking about? Um yeah, honestly, I am not happy about it. But I don't know if we should blame Gumi for it either because the way that it was set up it's basically
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this last week, but Alan basically took a giant dump, and now Gumi has to figure out how to. And everybody wants the nugget of gold that was in the middle of that dump, and Gumi is trying to figure out how to get it to people.
yeah. And it's
But
a hard job. It's going to be a hard job for them. And they'll figure it out, but like such bullshit everything around this. So,
yeah,
but what can we do? It's not like we'll stop playing.
yeah. And the other thing that happened this week is we got a new event.
Yeah, it was a
I,
new event. At least it wasn't a dead week, right?
yeah, I mean it's dark visions distilled to its purest form. There is a literal punching bag, and your job is to punch it really hard.
I guess what I think. So okay, so for people that don't know, the event is basically you kill it once, and then there's a daily dungeon that you need to do, and you use these gear little icon shit that you get, and you go to the exchange shop and you get STMRs and TMRs for it. Now the rewards themselves are kind of amazing. I think they're amazing. A lot of these are really good rewards.
Some of them are. I think a lot of the items have actually been power crept these days. Like
Really?
like Squall's STMR is in there. Squall's STMR is barely relevant these days. Like there are 5-star or
Yeah.
there are NVTMs that make it look way worse in comparison. Guardian Charlotte's TM is basically just straight up better than Squall's STMR.
Yep. But stuff like Witch's Cackle is still real good. Last Guardian.
Eh, I mean, who's going to use Witch's Cackle? Who uses rods?
You say that, but then Vivi loved Witch's Cackle for me, so.
Okay, let me rephrase that. What good units are going to use
Wow,
rods?
fuck you. Fuck you. um, then there's the 80% attack one. I forgot what that was called.
Unfaltering Fist.
Right, that one.
The problem is dual wield units don't really need help capping attack.
Yeah,
True double hand units
it's the only
typically
ones that
don't
ever
use
need it.
fists.
Yeah. Man,
Like what is it? Last Guardian. That one is great. I'm gonna
I
get
love,
that
yeah,
one because I
that was
already
really
have a
good.
copy, but more copies of Killer Materia is always good, especially like the extra attack. Usually not necessary, but 80% is still a lot. It could free up space for another killer even. So that's fantastic to have. The other ones, I mean, who really cares about these things? Like, oh,
To be fair though, I think I would still get a Lion's Heart and possibly another Genji glove because it. I mean, I the other things I can't really get, but those are the only ones I
I
can think
think it
of.
depends on how much LB damage gear you have. Like for me, Alliance Heart is doing absolutely nothing.
Really? Because I have not enough LB gear right now.
Well,
Never enough.
let's see, there's Eagles or NV Eagles TM. There's Guardian Blade Charlotte's TM. There's what else is there? Has high LB damage. There's Sora's STMR. I know there's a bunch of other stuff too, but there's a lot of stuff that just like I don't even use these other items that are better than it a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like I'm going to use something that's worse. So
Yeah, but for some reason I'm lacking LB damage materia, so Alliance Heart's probably like up there for me to
you
get
should just
grab.
shitter 3 copies of Off-Banner Guardian Blade Charlotte like I did.
Guardian Blade, do you mean the tank Charlotte? 7-star, 5-star race?
No, the NV one. I pulled 3 copies of her
Oh,
Off-Banner.
really?
It's awful, but at least her TM is decent.
I only shitted her once from the free 10 pulls daily, so
Oh yeah, definitely use a Trust Mukul on her.
okay. I'll do that then.
Because her TM is 50% attack, 50% LB damage.
And the 50% SPR, don't forget about that one. So spicy.
I mean, that's good for like Shui Yu. Is Brave Shift?
Oh, it's also good for Aerith.
No, she doesn't use LB damage.
Oh, she doesn't use LB damage at all. She's actually MP. Yeah, you're right. Huh. All right. We've, I think, exhausted all the content that was here this week.
Yeah, it's not a very exciting week.
The only exciting thing is if you got a Tifa, you take it to DV and now you can cap it, most likely. Because
How easy is it to cap DV with Tifa?
you still need to have like Noctis and like I think at least one good like mage. So it's not it doesn't like Tifa doesn't
Aerith?
yeah, and Tifa doesn't automatically mean you're gonna like cap it. But like it
Yeah,
does
I'm
make it
just
easier.
wondering if I should bother like completing all the stages in DV for the first time in months. Because I usually don't even bother with the last area.
Me too. I haven't either done it yet either. So from I don't have Tifa. I impulsively spent 30k of the 60k, thinking that I'll shit at her. And I didn't get anything. So I am not pulling on her anymore.
Yeah.
I have made bad decisions. Don't do what I do what I say, which is don't pull on this
Yeah.
banner.
And again, I spent 60k and did not pull her and had to do the pity. So don't do that either.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that in the future our frag dungeons change, and I think that's the biggest thing that I really hope for now. We need an
Yeah.
update to these frag dungeons. Because otherwise it's really hard to keep playing this game anymore. Like next week's probably going to be Cal, right? Next on the schedule, like DV's over this week, and next week has to be Cal.
Probably. I mean, they've said that they're going to alternate them. So since they both last 2 weeks and there's 4 weeks in a month, I'd assume that's what that means. But it's Gumi. Who knows?
I mean, that's true, and they've consistency isn't their strong suite. But like with the way that Cal is going and like how this is going, it compounds to each other being like a less than enjoyable experience right now. Hopefully something changes. Well, that's about it. Do you have anything else to add, Muspel, before we cue the chocobos? Take us away.